What's up, nerds? Welcome to Arsenal X, NGR's Xbox show. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, that retro code, Edward Varnell.
Everybody, I'm excited to be doing Arsenal X. I'm excited to get ready. I failed. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, This is what I deal with in the hours leading up to the show. I say, "Hey Ed," and he's like, "Oh, I just got in from work." And then I was like, "Arsenal X tonight." And he's like, making all these X puns. I'm excited to do Arsenal X.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Hey, I do that for Nintendo Power Block, which you guys should also check out on NGR Radio. And let's pod and play. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Ed, how are you
I'm
doing?
excited about talking about video games.
I know, I am too. It's been a stressful last half hour for me, but that's okay. But Ed, how are you? How's your day going?
It's going great. Just did some work at 5 o'clock this morning for 4 hours and came home to some news. Yes, some well, it's more political news that I completely find so funny. It's a train wreck in the current administration, and it's so funny. Just so, but other than that, it's so crazy because even though this is an Xbox podcast, all this wonderful Nintendo news dropped today, and I can't talk about it until Power Block Thursday. Like, literally, we're going to have the next Power Block. You guys will have to tune in. So much exciting news.
Yeah.
So much. And I'm super excited about it.
Dude, I knew as soon as we recorded Power Block, we recorded Power Block a day early this week just because we had the time and we just wanted to, get through it because I don't know if you guys are aware, but this doesn't pay the bills yet, so got to go to our real jobs.
Yes,
but we recorded Power Block a day early, and I knew that was going to happen. That as soon as we recorded a show, news was going to drop about Switch.
But we did the recording on a weekend, so just all this crazy news came out throughout the day. So
so if our episode of Power Block yesterday felt a little outdated, just you can prepare for Friday's episode if you listen to that show. So, and if you don't, why aren't you listening? Sorry.
Yes, do check out Nintendo Power Block on NGR Radio.
I enjoy these shows quite a bit, and
yes, I'm gonna tell you, Corey, there's gonna be one day all this great Nintendo news is gonna come out. We already had their Power Block, and I'm gonna be like, look, I know you have, if you're home, I'm home, let's record an extra Power Block. We have got to talk about today's news.
Well, that weekend you come up here when our Arsenal X and Power Blocks are all going to be just outdated but my thing is I want people to see the production value behind the stuff that we used to do when you're here.
Yes. And
we're going to have fun talking about Nintendo, and when you're up here, we're going to have, we're going to do this for Arsenal X too, but Xbox and Nintendo memories and just a what they call evergreen episodes, where you can go back and listen to them from time to time, and they don't have anything to do with that week. And maybe we'll have some Xbox news by then, because I just feel like we are really scraping the bottom of the barrel for Xbox stuff to talk about lately, because Gamescom's still a week away, 2 weeks away. Is it this weekend?
Away.
Next weekend.
I think next weekend.
Okay.
and Microsoft just haven't been saying much. So we're not getting. I mean, I know Sony has been getting news, and Nintendo kind of been dominated, and PC's been dominated, but we're not like Xbox kind of had. Microsoft has like been quiet,
Right.
you know. So I know they're gearing up for OX, and there's going to probably be a lot of talk, but they need to get something out like now for people to really talk about things.
Right.
But you know what? They may be. It may be smart of them, because of the survey that they did and how they was just talking about like Nintendo Switch and things like that. They may have. They probably are taking a page out of Nintendo and planning stuff. You know, getting ready to market that system and not really talk about it, but just in the coming weeks, be like, okay, this week this is our goal. So let's talk about it. Let's throw something out for people to discuss and like slowly roll it out. Cause I'm like, we have 3 more months to uh start talking about OX, about 1X. So maybe throughout they'll be dropping something. You know, maybe probably not at a conference or anything, but maybe Microsoft might go on Mixer and drop some news on there. Have a Nintendo Direct style or a Direct style kind of presentation. Like if they're bigging up Mixer stuff, maybe it's time for them to do a Direct style on Mixer and like introduce people to uh Xbox One X, and then later on, hey, if you're closer to a Microsoft store, we have more of what we just showed you guys. You guys can play it this weekend. So come to the nearest Xbox store and check it out. Like they need to start doing stuff like that and rolling it out. Maybe get something out like kind of like make October very big to prepare for November. Because if they don't do nothing, their launch is not going to have no kind of impact.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are afraid of, right? Is like they have this box, this nice new beautiful box, and they don't have any. They haven't really shown it off to the public, really. Like,
Right.
I mean, Gamescom is a public show. I'm sure it's going to be there. PAX. There's a couple more opportunities to do it, but like they need to do what Nintendo was really good at doing and like setting up demo stations after E3. Remember after E3
Yeah.
for Wii U games, they'd set up, like, especially like when they announced Smash and 3D World and Rayman Legends were all coming out. Like they set up demo kiosks at Best Buys and stuff, and like try
Yeah.
the games that were announced at E3.
And they're I think they're still on their summer tour. Like they have tour dates to be like, hey, if you guys want to play the latest games or find out what we showed up, here is our stop. You guys could come in and play it. Like they have their summer tour. So Microsoft, they have their own store, so they could be showing these things off. Like the Slim, they should have been showing that off at Microsoft stores.
Yeah. Well, they've got some. They've got. I mean, they're climbing that steep hill, and they're climbing. They're struggling, but they're climbing. I mean, we've said this 1,000 times on multiple shows that Phil Spencer has really avoided the iceberg with this thing. He's really turned the ship around and like really, they're heading in a good direction. They need another boost. They need a shot in the arm. They need that adrenaline. They need that shot of adrenaline, and they need it fast. Like, because I don't think Crackdown is the game to do that exactly. Like, I'm excited to play Crackdown. I think it looks really fun.
Yes.
But like, how many people are really looking forward to Crackdown, right? I mean, they finally made the announcement that Terry Crews is one of the main protagonists, and like you're able to play as him, which is a good shot in the arm for that game, because a lot of people just thought he was advertising that game or like,
Right.
like a side character or something. But
Like no piece of league.
yeah, so
Well, I think Microsoft is struggling because there's not a word of mouth discussion going on about it. And as many people like we bring like me and you we bring up Nintendo because we're able to talk about Nintendo whether they have no news or not. We're able to still discuss Nintendo and some things about them.
Hmm.
We can't really do that with Microsoft because they're not creating a buzz or creating a discussion about them yet. I'm gonna say yet. But once they start creating something for us to discuss and people in the gaming community actually to have something to talk about Microsoft, whether it's positive or negative, Microsoft will start getting noticed more.
Yeah.
You know, and once that happened, then I think people will start be finding an interest into, Microsoft's products and stuff like that.
Right. Oh, man. Xbox. We like it. And that's why we
Yeah, I
do the
love my
show.
Xbox.
That's why we do the
Yes.
show. Uh, Ed, what have you been playing on your Xbox?
I've been playing Titanfall 2, going through the story mode, trying to get some collectibles.
Introducing new Nintendo
Some of the
2DS
stuff that I
XL.
missed.
Its new
I
sleek.
am playing it on easy just to get those collectibles. Like I said, I already beat it. Still such a good game. I'll be starting up Lost Odyssey in a couple of weeks, and
That's a great game. That is a
oh,
great game.
I
Lost
cannot
Odyssey is
wait
the
to
best
play.
Final Fantasy game ever. Period.
Yeah,
Just
I
saying.
heard.
If you guys have not played Lost Odyssey and like you can find it for cheap or buy it off the Xbox 360 digital store, it is backwards
Uh,
compatible on Xbox One. It was free for like 2 months at the end of the year last year,
yeah,
and
and
like
when they announced it, I literally downloaded it like
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, and I'm just saying like that game is really awesome, and the game like that game has so much hidden story. Like if you can go into these places and find books and just read for hours about the lore in this
Yes.
world, and like if you like I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically this game takes place in and you play as immortals. Like your main protagonist is immortal, and you create this party, some immortal, some not, and it's just this really interesting take on the generic amnesia storyline, but like it's a really cool way how they explore finding your memories, and like the characters are cool, the villain's cool, totally set up for a sequel that never happened.
Hmm.
Just saying that ending,
I
that
heard the story is phenomenal.
oh, the story is amazing. It's like,
Uh,
I mean,
oh,
okay, you have to
it,
realize it's
it,
a time and
hold
place
up.
story.
Before you go on, I heard some of the music on the soundtrack. I want to see this perform live. This soundtrack is knockout good,
Well,
like
it's classic Final
really good.
Fantasy. It's the composer from classic Final Fantasy games.
Well, yeah, but it just doesn't get the recognition from a lot of people because a lot of people didn't really buy Lost Odyssey, but it's held up high as a really great RPG.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's deemed as a classic,
Hmm.
which I can understand, and that was going to be one of my reasons of buying the Xbox 360 before I got my one, but because it was backwards and it was free, yeah, I definitely had to have it, and I can't wait to jump in. Oh, but go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was just gonna say like that the ending was so good, and it totally sets it up for a sequel that never happened. And like, man, if they made a sequel to that game, it would have been awesome. But they went on to make well, the game before that, their first game was Blue Dragon on 360, and then they went on to make The Last Story for Wii, which was an
Hmm.
awesome action RPG. If you haven't played it, and if you have a Wii or Wii U, like, and you can find the Last Story, I would recommend picking it up. That's also a really cool story. Actually, a lot of Lost Odyssey vibes in it. Like it's really good. So definitely try
Yeah,
to track it
my
down.
friend.
I'd say I know we talked a lot about this on Pal Block, uh, on the episode that came out yesterday, but like I might like The Last Story more than Xenoblade Chronicles.
No, but I had to play the last story. I think Xenoblade Chronicles is just
I mean,
it's deep.
Xenoblade's great, but the Last Odyssey or the last
That's
story, the last
huh.
story has some amazing character moments that you will find yourself tearing up a couple times. The story's not great, but the character moments are like some of the best I think I've ever experienced. It's awesome. So, Lost
Mm,
Odyssey, check it out. Maybe Ed'll stream it for some for something. Hmm?
yes,
Yeah,
maybe a let's learn
maybe.
or a let's pod and play.
Yeah, maybe we should just do that. Maybe we should just let's pod and play and do like the first hour of that game.
Yes.
Dude, the first hour, like the first 10 minutes of that game are so epic. You wake up in this. I'm not even gonna spoil it for you.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah. You had to. I had to. You had to keep it fresh. I had to keep it fresh
Ugh.
because I'm a big role player. Like that's one of my favorite genres.
Mhm.
Um, and I really need to dig into like Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 12 and Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, Breath of the Wild. Uh, yeah. So, uh, because of Dragon Quest 8. Yeah. But for my Xbox One, that is what I'm playing. And I'm going to be jumping back into Dead Rising 4.
Oh, really?
I love that game. It's actually fun. It's really comedic and really funny. And beating up the zombies, I'm just like, oh, this is cool, you know. So I'm going to be working on that stuff in the coming days.
Nice, nice. I've actually never played a Dead Rising game.
I mean, I have the one for Wii, but I didn't play it. I think I paid like $5 for it, like brand new. They were just getting rid of it. Uh, and I have two for PS3, but I didn't play it. And I have Dead Rising 3 on Xbox One, and and I have four. So, but I don't have like the original 361, and to play. So, oh, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I never played a Dead Rising game.
Oh,
That's all. Uh, but
yeah.
man, games. I've DMC man.
I'm thinking of popping. Uh, I'm thinking of popping that one back in and like literally putting it on a harder difficulty. And uh, well, I'm probably gonna play it. Finish playing it on normal, and try to get everything in the game. So when I do go on a hard difficulty, uh, I could just challenge myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
So.
Well, in terms of Xbox, I've been playing DMC. Uh, I
Yes.
I have been like I've been trying to go back and play some of Ninja Theory's games because Hellblade is coming out soon, and I know that's
Yeah.
not coming to Xbox, but it is coming to PC. So like a lot of people that are Xbox gamers might also be playing on PC. Like that game is coming to PC and it's $30, and like I've been going back and revisiting like DMC, Enslaved, and I'm not really into Enslaved, but I like the idea of that game, so I tried to like power my way through some of it just to get a refresher. Heavenly Sword for PS3. That was the first game I bought on my PS3, and that game
Yes.
is severely underrated. The story is really awesome. The character design is really cool.
The control is kind of
Yeah, the controls are kind of bad. It's like imagine if like a God of War that didn't have precise controls and you couldn't jump or like yeah, it's a strange way to control a game to especially for
yeah.
a a stylish action game to not include a jump button. Like that's weird. That's really weird.
Well, it was at that time that Sony wanted people to have like motion control, like the six axis. They were trying to have companies use that a lot, and it didn't work well because Lair is a prime example when when it doesn't work well. So that was part of the reason. Um, but yeah, I love Heavenly Sword. Enslaved I did beat, but I have it for PS3. A very good game. And yeah, DMC Devil May Cry. Just uh, I love I love just the combat in that game and using Dante. I actually like that character model of Dante and
Hmm.
just his move set. Um and yeah, I think Xbox One plays better than the PS4 version.
Yeah, it's yeah, I really like DMC. I like this was DMC was the first Devil May Cry game that I played, and I mean it's still my favorite. I didn't play 1, 2, or 3, and I played a little bit of 4, and I was like this, like I like this Dante. I like the story. I like Cat. I like the relationship with Virgil. I like the big twist at the end. Like I love that game, and I want them to make DMC 2. Like
Yes.
I would love it to be Ninja Theory, but I would like Capcom to like at least say, look, we really want to make a sequel to DMC, and because the twist at the end, I mean, like I know DMC well, Devil May Cry fans proper know the story of Virgil, but like the twist at the end of that game totally sets it up for like a trilogy. Like you could tell they're trying to set up a trilogy, and like they just don't finish it. And like now the rumor is they're gonna go back to Devil May Cry and do Devil May Cry 5. And like
Ugh.
I don't want that. I want to see what happens. Like we know what happens to Virgil
For sure.
and Dante, and like we know what happens to those characters on that side. And like the introduction of Nero, like you could do something cool with a new version of Nero, adding him to the mix of the new of DMC. Like maybe not as like a main protagonist. Like I don't want to play as him. I want to play as Dante. But like you could add him in as like a DLC type thing, the way they did for Virgil. Uh,
Yeah.
I just want a DMC. I really want a DMC sequel, man. I think that story in that world is really cool, and it played well. The weird formations of the cities and stuff, like the way they crumpled on each
Yeah,
other, was really cool. Like,
that artwork is phenomenal in that game.
yeah. So I hope we get it, but that's pretty much all I've been playing on the Xbox side. Like a lot of it's been Switch for me, and it sucks because
Okay.
like
Hmm.
I don't want to talk about Nintendo games on an Xbox podcast, but that's literally what I've been playing. Like I've been playing a lot. I've been playing more Shantae. Like I think that's on Xbox One. Uh,
Hmm.
so like Half Genie Hero is really good. Uh, so, but anyways, let's move on to what news we do have for Xbox.
Yes.
I feel bad because like I we always have so much to talk about on NGR and Pow Block, and the Nerds Gone Platinum. Moose and Jason always have so much to talk about, and like I feel bad because there has not been a single drop of Xbox news lately that's like really worth talking about. Like
Yes.
I mean there's some tidbits here and there. Actually, like I did find this one news story that just happened about 10 minutes ago while we were talking about DMC. Uh, EA merged BioWare Montreal with Motive Studios. So that's
Yes.
like a I mean, come on, we saw that coming, right? After Mass Effect, like we we
Well,
we knew we knew Montreal, BioWare Montreal was like they had already downgraded it to a support studio on its other games, right? And now like they're actually putting Motive in a studio and BioWare support studio on there. Like
hmm
we saw that. I mean, we saw that coming. I didn't know it was going to be Motive, but we did see that like Montreal was kind of. I thought they were going to close the studio, to be honest with you.
no, they're too talented for them to close BioWare.
No,
Uh,
well, BioWare Edmonton
well,
is the main studio. Montreal is was the support studio, and then Mass Effect Andromeda was their first crack at a full game. So I thought they were just going to close the Montreal studio and just keep everything in
Well,
Edmonton and Austin.
was it wasn't BioWare just one field company? And I'm assuming when EA bought them, EA
Well,
must have split them in two.
here's what happened. EA had a bunch of studios, and then they purchased BioWare. Well, they purchased
Yes.
BioWare Edmonton, which is the main BioWare studio. And then what they did was EA had a studio in Montreal, and they had a studio in Austin, and they rebranded those studios BioWare because BioWare was so popular with Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect and Dragon
Yes.
Age that they decided that the brand recognition of the game, if we can sell a BioWare game through these studios, people will like people who don't really pay attention to a lot of things, like they'll eat it up because it's a quote BioWare game. So that's the history of
Well,
BioWare for you.
okay. So there's kind of three stories that's dealing with EA and BioWare. But let's address the first part of the BioWare Montreal. So the studio behind Mass Effect Andromeda, BioWare Montreal, is now tearing down its metaphorical walls and merging with EA Motive. The two studios share the same floor and office space, making a strange distinction as the two studios work closely together. Us closely already. EA Motive is a studio headed by Jade Raymond, the former Ubisoft producer best known for her work spearheading Assassin's Creed. She joined EA in 2015, forming Motive Studios, alongside the announcement that she would be responsible for a Star Wars game using EA's exclusive license for the Mega franchise.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
now, which is good. Jay Raymond, she's really good at what she does. She helped, like they said, Assassin's Creed become what they are. Um, Now this is the weird story about it, and I don't know if you got to check it, but EA had a successful quarter, and in a way, they're kind of thanking Mass Effect Andromeda for it. So, Mass Effect Andromeda had a tough year. It launched it to a tepid reception from both consumers and critics. It had technical and tonal issues and just other problems for it. Despite all of this, EA is praising Mass Effect Andromeda's performance with regard to the way it affected the bottom line. EA's first quarter of 2017 prepared comments to investors. CFO Blake Jorgenstein states that net sales were $775 million, up 93 million over the same quarter in 2016, and 25 million above expectations. He explains this by saying year-on-year growth was driven by the Mass Effect Andromeda sales captured by the quarter and by FIFA. Now, reason why I say that is because Mass Effect Andromeda, only way that they actually helped is because they put the game on sale digitally.
Mhm.
And so for some physical copies, it was like $30.
Yeah, it's $35 on Amazon right now.
35 bucks. Yeah. So like what a couple of weeks after the game came out and got its reception, it started selling the way that it is. So for a lot of people, I think people were buying the game digitally than physical copies, because they were just like, well, the deluxe version is only $41.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it felt like they was jumping between Xbox and PS4 for the sale of this game. And then for some unknown reason, 2.5 weeks, depending on what retail store you went to, the game was also on sale for physical copy.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, like a couple weeks ago, GameStop had it for $20. So, I mean, that game, like, I feel so bad for that game. Like, I really do. And we've spent too much time talking about how that game was just shoved out. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't know. This is just sad, man. That team had the chance, and they were rushed. Ugh. Like, I wanted to like Mass Effect Andromeda really bad, and like I know friends of NGR, the Fathers of the Grind guys love that show or love that game, and like Todd Oxtrode likes that game a lot, and
hmm
I wanted to, and like after playing Zelda and Horizon already this year, and like a couple other games I have on the back burner, like I want to play the games that got nines and tens, and I don't have time for a mediocre game right now. Like I just don't, and like we talked about this, the lineup for this fall is super I don't even know what I'm saying. Is so big for Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, like across the board. If you include the third parties and stuff, like Mass Effect's gonna be sitting on the back burner for a while, and I feel bad because I love Mass Effect, but like,
right, and Nintendo alone is probably going is if you look at it, it's probably almost about $500+ itself in games that people are going to want this holiday season.
Right, like, I mean, what games I have pre-ordered already.
Exactly, and don't forget this is including 3DS. This is including Switch. Some Wii games because Axiom version is coming out for Wii, and it's including indie games. So on 3DS and on Switch. So that whole schedule is packed for this holiday season.
Yeah, like for Switch alone, I have the collector's edition of Sonic Mania. I have Mario and Rabbids. I have NBA 2K. I have the Pokken Tournament, FIFA, Readout, Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem, Rhyme, Xenoblade, Skyrim, and then I have all those amiibo, and then Rayman Legends. Yes. I need to go figure out what I'm doing about that game. Axiom Verge, I need to go figure out what I'm doing with that game. Battle Chasers, like that's Switch alone. That's my Switch lineup for 2017 right now alone, and that's not including Wolfenstein 2. That's not including Destiny 2. That's not including Crackdown. That's not including, hopefully Shadow of the Tomb Raider gets announced at Gamescom this year. Like that, I'm like that. And that's not including Battlefront 2, which I'm really stoked about. I really want to play that campaign, man.
Right.
Like
so
that's like all those games, are gonna get great scores. Like that's not like like Destiny, out of the games I just named, I bet Destiny gets a low score. I bet Destiny gets like mid sevens, and that's not like, I'm not trying to put the game down or anything, but like Destiny's a game that grows over time, and it's going to start out not as bare bones as Destiny 1, but it's going to start out with, a small amount of content and grow over time. Like that's just the way that game works, and like people are going to have to re-review it and let people know what's happening and stuff like that, but like there's just too many games to play now and too many games coming out for me to waste my time on a game like Mass Effect right now, which sucks. So
yes, which I am working. Like I said, I am working my way through Mass Effect. I think I got one more side mission on the southern land, and then I could go to the actual planet that I need to continue the story. So, I'm working my way through it. Though. Yeah. But Corey, we do have some sad news from BioWare actually. Corey Gasper, he was the lead designer of the Mass Effect trilogy and for Anthem. He actually passed away today. He was a member of BioWare for over 9 years and worked on as a designer from a lot of games, and that includes also Sonic Chronicles, Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect 2 and 3, and he was the lead designer for Anthem. So he did just out of the blue pass away. We don't know what he died from, if it was natural causes or a car accident or anything like that. We don't have that full detail, but people are sending the company at BioWare, they send their condolences, and found out that I guess Adrian Nieto had him as a teacher. Our good friend Adrian Nieto, I think he took a class with him or something, or maybe a seminar with Corey, and kind of learned from him. So I know that's kind of hitting him hard at the moment. But yeah, he would slowly be missed, and he worked on a lot of games. So
yeah, Yeah, that's sad. Anytime you hear of like a death, like I mean, like not even like a quote celebrity death, but like it's sad when people die, and like those are games people care about, and he had a big hand in these games, and it's always sad to hear like someone's gone now, like a little piece of that game is gone, and it's just sad, like it's sad,
Yes.
and like they didn't even release a cause of death yet, did they?
No, they had just announced it.
Yeah.
They kind of announced it on Twitter and news sites and stuff. So
Okay.
they probably the family haven't given up a lot of information just yet. So probably by some the time of this viewing that you guys will see, there'll probably be an update on some info on his passing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really sad, man. Mm, I just I don't really deal with death well. Like it's just one of those things that is just like like I mess around with my mom and stuff, like when I talk to her and she's like watching the news and she's like, "Oh, somebody died while they were driving and texting and stuff, whatever." Like I'm like, I don't want to hear about that stuff. Like all the news is like talking about death and fires and death and shooting and death, like but like this this is just sad, and like
Yes.
man, like I just think of like people that have been important to me in my life, and we lose people, and it's always sad when you lose someone, and you know condolences
Right.
to his family and friends and everybody. So it's sad.
Yes. Well, Corey, I actually have one more story.
Well, that's good
Uh,
because that's one more than I got.
and actually, a lot of people might like, why are we talking about this? But crossplay for for Minecraft is available for Windows 10 and Android. The Xbox One beta will be coming live in a couple of days. So those who are playing Minecraft on Windows 10 and on Android, they can play together now. For the game, and then in a couple of weeks or a couple of days they'll be doing on Xbox One. This is part of their sorry about that. Ooh, sorry about that again. This is part of their Better Together's feature. So the servers aren't live just yet, but probably by the time you guys read this or hear this, they should be going live that you guys can play. So that's the first step about crossplay. And don't forget that this is also going to be included Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch at a later date.
Mhm.
So yeah, for those who are playing Minecraft, you guys have crossplay.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
uh well, I do have one more. Excuse me. I do have one more news story. I'm sorry if you're watching the video. Skype is crapping on me again. It's just has this big red bar across my face that says internet connection problem. Blah, 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 blah. And this has just not been my day.
uh,
Oh man.
Case of the Mondays.
Yeah. But the news story is from IGN, and Crash Insane Trilogy. There's a video up that allegedly says that it's like it has Xbox button prompts for the Crash Insane Trilogy, meaning that Xbox could steal a game from the PlayStation exclusive lineup. I don't know who's excited for Crash Bandicoot. I'm sorry, like I'm really confused at how that game sold so well, but it did, and like now Xbox players are probably gonna get in on the action, and I'm sure it'll come to Switch at some point too. So uh,
Yes.
they did say it was pretty much a timed exclusive for PlayStation, and the box does not say only on PlayStation. So, you know how
Right.
Sony likes to brand their boxes. It says only on PlayStation. So,
Right. I think in America, it'll sell I mean, it'll probably sell a little bit well on. I know on PS4 it sold a little bit well. I think it'll probably sell the same amount on Xbox One. I think once it comes to Switch, or if it comes to Switch, that's where everybody's gonna be buying the game at.
I think too many people are going to be busy playing Rayman Legends and Mario Odyssey to even give two craps about about
That is true.
Crash. Like, I don't care about Crash at all, man. Like, I know I didn't. I bought an N64 instead of a PS1. Like, I don't care about Crash. Like, I would rather see Spyro come out than Crash. Like, I don't know. I just
Well, he did come out, but he made Skylanders,
yeah,
and
I
then they
know.
took his name off,
I
and
don't know.
which is
But they
weird
have there's like
because
7 or 8 Spyro figures though. He's still like every game they put a new Spyro figure in.
actually no, I think
Not in the
Trap Team.
box, not in the box, but like there's a Spyro figure.
No,
I think.
they don't sell Spyro figures no more.
I thought there was at least like 3 or 4 Spyro figures.
I think Trap Team, which is the third game, I think that was the last one that had a Spyro in it. If not, then Giants is the last one. Because Spyro, when Spyro Skylanders came out, Skylanders Adventure came out when it first came out. That's when they had Crash in it.
Yeah.
Because they never saw, and then like later on, I think that's when they started selling Spyro by himself with like a limited edition of him, like a dark version. And then other than that, more of the games came out, they stopped putting Spyro's name's not on it no more, and they stopped putting him in the box. They don't even sell him by himself.
Dumb. That's what I say. Dumb.
Hey.
Spyro. What could have been?
Hey, but Crash is in the latest Spyro, and I don't think it did anything for Imaginators like the new one, but that Donkey Kong and that Bowser Skylander,
They're just funny looking.
they're funny looking, but I'm just like, this is kind of cool. But then you put them up to the Amiibo, and you be like, oh, you see the quality difference.
Ugh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never got into Skylander, so I really don't care. My Toys to Life game was Disney Infinity that you can see right behind me. If you're watching the video, it's
Yes.
there's a lot of them, the whole set actually.
Oh, nice.
And I have the crystal figures still boxed. They're in a box somewhere.
The Toys R Us exclusives.
Yeah, yeah, I got them all. So, the hardest one to find was the freaking Buzz Lightyear one. Jeez.
Shoot, we had that for ages. Nobody was buying that.
Well, I didn't even know about the crystal figures until I found a Jack Sparrow just sitting there. It was like a Jack Sparrow and a Lone Ranger, I think, were just sitting there. I was like, what are these white figurations? And then I started going up and down the Toys of Life aisle, and somebody had hidden a Lightning McQueen behind like a bunch of Transformers, and like I was, yeah, you think people have the amiibo bug bad? I had the Infinity bug bad. I almost went out and like when they announced the cancellation and that guy was continuing to like sell some of them, like he was 3D printing them and just selling the figures for like $20 a pop. I almost bought his full X-Men line, his Deadpool line. He had a couple Star Wars figures that were still prototyped but not ever finished. Like, I don't know if this was an artist from Avalanche or what, but he had all kinds of 3D images and scans of the figures. And, like, ooh, I wanted those X-Men ones so bad. They were, like, early 90s X-Men.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So, man. Yeah. Yes. But
Yes.
that's just me. I really, gosh, I wanted X-Men so bad. The Deadpool one was really cool too. Like they all look like they go together. They just sit really nice together. That's the one thing I like about the Disney Infinities is somehow they came up with this cool art style for all the figures where they still look like the figures from like the movies and the TV shows and stuff, but they all have this unified art style, and it's really cool. So
yes.
But anyways, Ed, guess
Yes.
what? We have listener questions. And guess what?
Yes.
Every question is about the Xbox One X, which really surprises me.
They're great questions, though.
Yeah, they are. So, our first question is from Brad Thompson. Is Xbox One X worth the pre-order? And then Edward Varnell replies, great question. Oh, I have an opinion. So, Ed, why don't you give us your opinion on the Xbox One X and if it's worth the
Okay.
pre-order?
Um, I'm gonna say yes, it is worth the pre-order. And I know a lot of people are the main focus is on 4K gaming, but you know, if you want the best experience, you're gonna have to kind of up the money. If this cuts down on installment times, it it really gives you like 60 frames per second, and it's giving you like true 4K. uh it's worth the investment. Now some people might say, well, I could just get an Xbox S, but Xbox S, the Slim, doesn't do as nearly as what the OX will be doing. OX is going to be a powerful console, and uh we can I definitely can't wait to see. I want to see. Don't forget, it doesn't have a fan because it's doing the liquid cooling, so you really won't notice that the system is on. uh Eventually, if you do upgrade to 4K, because a lot of prices are dropping down, you'll be already set to go, so you can just actually plug in and continue playing for that. uh you're still going to have your 360 and your original Xbox games. I think the only thing you will have to do when you do get your if you decide to pre-order and definitely get a OX like when it comes out, you will probably need another external hard drive, and you will have to install those games. And if the installment time is cut down on it, it's worth the pre-order. It's worth ordering. People are going to be coming in trying to buy the system so they can sell it online.
Hmm.
So people are people are going to be planning to be like, well, all the OXs are gone. So, but if you want one, there's one on eBay for $700. People did it for the PS3. Don't know why, but uh, if if you are willing to save up the money, the $500 to upgrade to that system, to have the best of the best, then yes, it's worth the pre-order. Um, I will say that I will say this though, that if you're going to pre-order it or pre-order the game, I mean the system, uh, look into what console launch exclusives to complement that system.
Hmm.
Don't look at the games that are out now and how they're going to look and all that stuff. Actually, go back at that E3 press conference and mark the games that you want to play, and experience that first on OX.
Hmm.
I would say if you have a chance to get 1 to 3 games, go ahead and do that. Also, look for Xbox Live Gold when the system comes out. You might get some very good game on that month of November and stuff. And for some people, they still might have the original Xbox, or they might actually have their Slim. And some people could be, if you're fine with that, that's good. But I think if you got the money and you really want to pre-order it, go ahead and pre-order the OX. I think it's worth the pre-order. Um, Unfortunately, I won't be doing it because of me having my Switch and building that library up and playing and buying games for Switch. Most of the games that I want for the Xbox, I'm going to play on my original Xbox, and it's not that many.
Yeah.
But if it comes to a time that I'll be like, you know what, I got the money for OX, I'll upgrade to OX and just donate my old Xbox One to one of my family members, and uh, kind of transfer, because most of my stuff is already on my external hard drive. So all I got to do is just connect it and format it for that, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, man, this internet thing is really making me upset. It's not my day, Ed. It's not my day. Uh, but for me, like, I'm gonna get one eventually, but and like I understand the benefits of the Xbox One X, even if you
Hmm.
don't have a 4K TV. Like, some games on Xbox One original run at 720p and 900p. Like, it'll automatically booster those up to 1080p, right? It'll improve games
Right.
like Halo 5 that do resolution. They sacrifice resolution to keep the frame rate up. So sometimes you'll be playing Halo 5, and to keep that steady 60 frames a second, it'll drop from 1080p to 900p or 720p sometimes. And you'll notice that when you're playing, but you'll still have that smooth frame rate. You'll notice that in Halo and Gears of War, because I think Gears 4 does the same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
and I know that that campaign runs at 30 to keep that cinematic feel and to boost the graphics, but you'll still feel that overhaul if you have an X. So for me, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I want to play as many games as I can this year, and right now those games are on Switch. And the way my life is going right now, and the way I'm able to play games and stuff, like most of my time is being spent in handheld, or I've even been playing around getting a tablet to have the Xbox. Yeah, I could stream to a Surface tablet or something like.
Yes.
You know, the most game time I've played more games this year than I have in the last like 2 years because of portability. Like I like to hang out and watch TV and see movies and stuff with my wife, and like, I can't be playing games a whole lot while I'm doing that. Well, like I've said many times on Pal Block in this show, the Switch has changed that. The Wii U was that to an extent, but
Yes.
and the 3DS to an extent. Like, I I like to play games in handheld mode on my Switch. Like, that's where it goes. That's just how it is, right? I use the dock to charge it. I cannot tell you the last time I played that game on a TV. Like, I think maybe it was like I played for a couple hours on TV this weekend when I was playing ARMS, but like, for me it's handheld mode, and laying in bed it's handheld mode, and like that's the one thing that Xbox can't provide me, is that like I have to wait till she goes to bed so I can use the TV to play my Xbox games, which
Yes.
is good and bad. Like I'm an adult with a life and a job, and I have responsibilities and things to do. Like, I don't have a lot of game time for a quote proper gaming experience to sit on the couch in front of the TV and play. But when I do, I want the best experience. Like, that's what my TV gaming is. When I got my TV out in the living room, like, it was the best TV available, and I wanted the best experience for my games. And I still want that, which is why I upgraded to the PlayStation Pro, which is why I upgraded to the S when I was able to. Like, I want the best experience I can have, and when the X comes out, I will be scrounging pennies to get one eventually. Probably next summer I will have an Xbox One X. Like, that's my goal next summer. Maybe not,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of Switch games coming out, dude. But like,
Exactly.
I feel like
It.
Xbox is doing a great job of keeping people in their ecosystem, and you're going to be able to have that $200 box to play Call of Duty and Madden. Those gamers can play there. Or if you want the best 4K Assassin's Creed or Halo experience, like, you get the X. Like, it depends on what you're looking for, right? It just
Yes.
depends on what you want and what you're looking for, and if that graphical fidelity affects you or not. Like, there's people that don't care about graphics at all, right? Like, there's just those people
Yes.
out there that don't care, and that's perfectly fine. The Xbox One S is probably your box, you know, but the X is a monster of a box, and I really want to see how that compares, and I want to see Lee Navarro. I'm looking at you, buddy. I want to see how an X compares to a well-built PC in
PC.
terms of graphical fidelity. Like, we make fun of PC gaming all the time. Like, like, people are like, who's the Xbox One X for? It's for the people who want a PC quality gaming experience, who don't have the money or the time to build a PC and download all those games, right? Like, they want a plug and play
Right.
experience. uh, and that's also who it's for. Is like I I
Right,
want
you
to
don't
like
have to shell out all that money for a graphics card while you already have just you have the OX ready to go. That's going to produce great graphical fidelity. It's going to look good and perform well.
yeah.
Only thing that you can't do is that you can't take it on the go unless you brought it digitally and you can play it on Windows 10.
Yeah. So like that's the thing, right? Is like Xbox One X is the console for the people who want the best experience, and like I want the best experience, so I'll be getting one, but I just can't pre-order it. It's not in the cards right now.
I would say this: OX and Pro didn't get the welcoming that I don't want to say kind of deserve, but I will say that OX did a better job of having a need for that system over PlayStation Pro. Like Pro didn't do to me personally, Pro didn't do nothing to warrant a purchase.
Hmm.
Yeah, they could upscale it to 4K, but I'm just like, but the Slim already have that ability for it. And for a lot of people who got the Slim and playing on a 4K TV, they could see it.
Hmm.
You know, just recently, Horizon Zero Dawn just got the 4K update for Pro, and that game has been out since February. Like you had a press conference on what Pro is supposed to be doing. Why now? And you even market Horizon off the Pro.
Hmm.
So why now is that game just now getting a 4K update?
Well, I think Sony's going in a direction where like, I don't want to speak for them because like I obviously don't know, but like it really feels like because at the beginning of the generation, Sony was marketing like, oh, we're all about the gamer. Here's how you play a used game on your PlayStation. Like when the Xbox was always connected, always online, can't play used
Yeah.
games, that kind of stuff. Like they were for the gamer, and they were really pushing indies, and they were really like trying to be consumer friendly, and heading back in that they're heading back in the other direction that they were for PlayStation 3. Like, we are almost anti-consumer. We like don't know what our box can do. Like we don't know which box to market because we have too many SKUs. Like the God of War demo for E3 was shown on on a launch PS4. Like, don't you want that game running on a Pro to show what it can be? Like, and
Right.
and I know like Xbox is going to do that with X. They're going to be like, look, this is a game running on Xbox One X. We want to show the best possible product out there, and then we say it's compatible with Xbox One S and Xbox One. Like, that's their whole platform, is like it's compatible on everything, but you'll get these different experiences here, here, and here. And maybe one day they'll fade out the original Xbox One and say, here's Xbox One X2, and then this game is compatible with Xbox One. It's similar to what like phone apps do now, right? You need a certain phone app or a certain update for your phone or a certain phone to play. Like a 5-year-old phone is not going to play a game that only works on the newest phone, right? Like,
Yes.
and it's going to be very incremental. It's not going to be every year like phones are, but at the same time, like you can probably expect an upgraded Xbox One X in 3 or 4 years. Like, I don't know if they're going to make like a fourth proper Xbox, right? I mean, I think that the Xbox One is just going to get the incremental updates, right? I think that's what Phil Spencer said, was like he wants to get rid of console generations. He wants to get rid of that and just have the box where everything is compatible, where everything, 3 or 4 years from now, there'll probably be an Xbox One XX. I don't know, So,
Yeah.
I,
And be ready for if you're going to do any kind of pre-orders, make sure that you have a game plan for that pre-order. Yes, if you already got an Xbox and you got some of the old games, that's fine. But just like kind of be prepared. Just be like, I really want to, since I'm spending this money, I let me get a game that's a console launch exclusive that I could actually play first on this Xbox. Me and Corey was talking earlier about when I was talking about the Microsoft store. Also check them if you are able to go to one of their stores, if and and see when they're doing pre-orders. Like if I have one close to me, I think there's one that's like 45 minutes close to me. Um, hopefully I could go there and talk to them and be like, okay, are you guys also doing pre-orders? I mean, it would be smart for them to pre-orders, and I would just pre-order from the Microsoft store instead of going to Best Buy, GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's worth it if you have the money and that's the experience you want. Like that's my whole thing, right? Is like it's worth it if that's the experience you want. And
Right.
there's a lot of Xbox gamers out there that want that experience and will be on their day one, and I would like to play Destiny in 4K at some point, and like
And it's
that's you're not going to get that with PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm sorry. It's checkerboard at
yeah,
1080p. So like I'm sorry. It's
yeah.
the Xbox
And
One
don't
X
forget
is everything you play on PS4 Pro is going to look better on Xbox One X, and that's just
yeah.
like if the companies put the time in to upgrade it to the 4K stuff that Xbox One X runs at. Like I know Assassin's Creed Origins has already said they're checkerboarding their 4K, which is technically not 4K. It's just up-res 1080p. Like it's just weird, whatever. But like,
Yes.
it's there. So
Yes. And it is the holiday time, getting close to Christmas and Hanukkah and even Kwanzaa for those who celebrate it. So it'll be a good gift. You're already prepared to buy that system for that gift.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I think we just answered like everybody's question. Antonio Guillen says, "Where's my pre-order?" Um, I don't know. You can give me $500 though if you're willing to donate, and I'll see if I can get you one. Right?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
uh,
I love Antonio. We need to
I
get
do
we need
too.
to get him on here at some point. Like, oh my gosh, I love Antonio so much. If you're into Switch stuff, if you want a short and sweet Switch YouTube show, go watch Switch Talk. It's like a 20-minute game. They kind of review the games that are coming out for Switch. It's really good. So, okay. Next question. Jesse White asks, Phil Spencer has said that he thinks the S will steadily outsell the X. Do you believe that to be true and possible? Yes. I think that the S will totally outsell the X next year. I think
Mm,
I think that
okay.
here's the thing. I think the X is for the hardcore of the hardcore, and it is more of a we're offering this to our hardcore fans, and we are pro gamer, so we are sending you a really nice box that you can play. But the people who play Call of Duty and Madden every year just want a box that sits under their entertainment center, where they have a stack of Madden for the last 10 years, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Call of Duty. Like that's where the S is gonna go, and like that's like sadly that's a majority of the gamers, and people are missing out on some great stuff. But that's the reality of the market. So I think the S, like initially, I think the first year the S will outsell the X. Eventually, as 4K TVs come down in price, people are looking for that 4K experience, and
Hmm.
they get that 4K TV. So I need a box that plays 4K. They'll upgrade to the X. I think that's when we'll start seeing the X sell more. But I still think the S is going to be the dominant box next year.
I'm going to say no to this, and I'm gonna tell you why, as usual. Um, because Xbox One as a brand is selling slowly. Nintendo Switch is just too hot right now, and it will consistently be hot for a good portion. Now, you're going to have to do your research. Whether you get an X or a OX, they're both going to sell slowly. Just like in a couple of weeks that I've been working at my job, I slowly been selling slims, but everybody has been asking me for X. Nobody has touched PS4. But when it comes to once OX come out and what and we got Slims and stuff and holiday bundles, both of them are slowly going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do sell, it's going to be because of NBA 2K. But if Nintendo supply stores with a lot of Switches, everybody's going to play 2K on that system.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to double dip on 2K. Like, everybody I've talked to that owns a Switch and a PS4 or Xbox One, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna take 2K on the road so I can play like a franchise mode, but the Xbox One and PS4 is the one I'm gonna play online.
Yeah. And can I address something
No.
with the first question? Okay. Just to let you guys, thank you. Oh, you. I just want to let everybody know you have to separate adult from teen from kid. You have to separate it. If you're an adult, you make that choice on what system that you want to buy, a OX or a Slim. For most teenagers, they're gonna ask their moms probably to buy them an Xbox. They're not gonna explain to them which one that they want. So parents are not going to know if they should get that Slim or the OX. And if that parent what that parent is willing to spend on that teenager, unless that teenager works for that money to get them an OX or a Slim. As for kids, though, a lot of kids they're probably gonna get the Slim so they could get Minecraft.
Right. Yeah.
Parents. Yeah.
Dude.
Parents are not going to spend $500 on the OX to get for their kid, and there's not enough games for their kid. That's geared toward them because it is sports and it is Minecraft, but none of the games that's on that system is going to be anything that's going to be worth playing. Kids are going to be kind of asking for the Switch, and adults are going to be wanting to buy the Switch, and maybe some teens too.
Right. I don't know. I still think like that $500 price point is a steep hill to climb for people, and if you can buy the box for $250 and spend that other $250 on games, like I feel like a lot of people are going to go that route for a while, like and you know, that's just my personal opinion. I don't know. I'm not an analyst. I sit in a spare bedroom and talk about video games with people all the time. That's what I do. But
there are people who said I have to have the first edition. I have to have it right away. They sometimes don't think of or plan out on how they're going to get it. They just know that they got to have it right away when it comes out.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't think Slim is going to outsell Xbox OX. I think they're both going to be equal. It's just that the X brand needs to start selling on any front.
Yeah. You can say that again. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. The next question for Arsenal X is, where's the load? Come on.
Jesse Douglas
says, if Xbox wants to stay ahead in the game in the hardware department, I think they should have waited to release the Xbox One X after PS5. What are your thoughts? Would it be just as good for them as now, or would it have been better to wait and put a more powerful hardware in it? I don't think the PS5, like, there's rumors, like Game Informer keeps reporting on rumors that the PS5 might be announced next year, which would be a bold move for Sony. I'm sorry. That would be a
stupid move.
Yeah, that would be real dumb. Like, I'm sorry, like, to put out a new box when your console's on top, like, that's just it sounds like something Sony would do, though. I'm sorry. That just sounds like something they would do.
It's a slap to Sony fans because you market the Pro as the ultimate box for PlayStation 4 players, and to just dump them off where you haven't allowed the PS4 Pro to even grow. Like, it's only been what I think it only be a year in November, I think,
Mm,
for the
yeah,
Pro.
yeah.
So that's a complete slap to everybody. Be like, you mean you are the leading console, so so you think that because Microsoft is putting out not a next generation, but a update to the Xbox brand, you're gonna go to your whole next generation to battle them. Even though you just put out the Pro, you put out PSVR that's not getting no support really. Like you got to have people understand why they need to have a Pro still to this very day. Like, and it feels like they would give up on the Pro if they announce a PS5.
Hmm.
Like there would be no need for it. Developers would have to then shift their games or whatever they have, their ports and stuff, to the PS5. And we won't see the PS5, I think, until 2023, 24. We just won't see it till like way later on. Uh but to answer this question, it's good for them to release it now. They don't need to wait and put out powerful hardware. They need to put something out that's going to gain traction so they could, for some people, be in the number one spot if you want to see it that way. But they want to provide entertainment. They want to get those fans back that have left the Microsoft brand.
Hmm.
So in order to do that, yeah, it's gonna cost you some money. But hey, some of us paid $600 to get a Neo Geo to play arcade games, and those games even came to Super Nintendo and Genesis later on down the line, and they were $200 a cartridge. But there are people who bought that system and bought those games.
Right.
So, uh, I think Microsoft is doing a smart thing. They just need to market it better. PS5 is not coming down to later down on the line. They are putting out a powerful console now, and hopefully with Xbox OX they give it 7 years. And so when it gets to 2026, then they could go on to their next box or their next generation.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think I think that I I think I kind of answered this question indirectly earlier, where Phil Spencer wants to cut down that generational gap, and this is the I think the Xbox is going to be the first one to truly like take that step in terms of like cutting down the generational barriers, and like we've seen Nintendo do it before, right? Like
Yes.
with the 3DS specifically and the DS, and their handheld line, and uh where things become backwards compatible for a little while. Like the DS Lite is a perfect example. Like you can play your Game Boy Advance games on your DS Lite, and then the DSi was a little bit faster, could process your games faster, but took away that Game Boy Advance thing. Like I think the I think it's smart for Xbox, first of all, to put out a stronger box, because to
Yes.
compete with Sony, it has to, right? Like on paper, Sony's games are like their first party portfolio on paper is better. Like they have the third party uh, rights to promote and market the third party games in the fall, like Battlefront and Call of Duty and Destiny. Like they have that area covered. Like
Yeah.
Xbox needs to make a move, and this is their move, and I think it's smart.
I
I don't think there's going to be a fourth proper Xbox. I think Xbox One is going to be the last titled Xbox, and like they're
mm,
just going to iterate on it, and that's how they're going to battle Sony's PS5 when it comes out. Is like, oh, the PS5 came out this year. Next year we're going to put out a box that's more powerful, that's compatible with all your Xbox One games and all your 360 games and all your digital library. that's how they're going to battle it long term. And like I used to think that Sony had it right for a while in terms of like PlayStation Now and the streaming of the old games and like
Yeah.
you know their games not being backwards compatible but attached to your account, so maybe future games will be backwards compatible where you play your PS4 games on your PS5, whatever. But like Xbox is doing things really smart. They just need that boost from their first party lineup. Like that's where Xbox is struggling, is the first party lineup.
Can I tell you, I think Sony needs it too. I literally think Sony's first party is still not strong enough. Yes, they sold well with Horizon. Yes, they got Bloodborne, they got Uncharted 4, but those three games is still not strong enough to actually own a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, but they are doing it other ways where people think that PlayStation 4 is cheaper out of the gate, so that's what gave them
Yes.
the jump start. They
Yes.
made the moves to get the marketing behind third parties. They made the self-publishing indies thing a part of their platform, which gave them a jump start,
Mhm.
which made
Yeah.
a lot of people who enjoyed Xbox Live Arcade made the jump to PS4 because of all the cool indies that PS4 was getting that was, at first locked behind the Xbox One, whatever they were trying to do before the box
Uh,
became what it is now. Like, I think Sony capitalized on Microsoft's missteps more than it did on its own library. Like,
yes.
that's where I think PlayStation succeeded. I think I think Microsoft wants to try to do what Nintendo does with their first party, where Nintendo right now is very successful on indies and first party. Like, that's
Hmm.
always been Nintendo's strong suit, whether you agreed with it on Wii U or not, whether you agree with it on Switch or not. But there's no doubt that Nintendo is really pulling all the stops out for their first party. And I think Microsoft wants to be that. They want to have Sea of Thieves be successful. They want State of
Yes.
Decay to be successful. They want Crackdown to be successful. They actually have a more diverse lineup than people realize, right?
Uh-huh.
Xbox used to be the place to go for shooters. Well, yeah, you still have Halo and Gears, but you have your racing franchise in Forza. You have State of Decay, which is your survival game. You have Crackdown, which is your all-around, I guess, blow stuff up game where you're still shooting
Yes.
stuff. But you have cool games like Sunset Overdrive. You have Rise. You have Dead Rising. Like, even though that some of those are second party games, but like you have those titles that diversify your lineup. And if Microsoft can
Yeah.
just hit on like two or three properties and build that foundation back up again, then you say, look, this is how we're changing Halo to make it a better first person shooter experience. And then you come out with a guns blazing with Halo 6 and it focused on Master Chief. And then you bring out, oh, by the way, Gears 5 is coming, and this is how we're changing Gears because you said Gears 4 was stale. That you build the foundation with these smaller titles. You get them out there.
Yes.
You blow the doors off with Halo 6. Like, that's how you boost their first party lineup.
And I think Microsoft needs to have their own indie company. They need, like, I would love for them to do something like
I mean, we
what
talked about Moon Studios a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
If you go on our YouTube page, it's broken out in the Arsenal X playlist. Like, we talked about Moon Studios and how they could be like, going to be Microsoft's equivalent of the EA Originals brand, right? Where they bring
right.
in these indie studios and publish them, and like they've tried a couple times, right? They showed a ton of indie games on their stage. Uh, they're Microsoft's making the right moves on that end. I have no doubt.
Right.
It's
And there
and like them getting PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds
is huge.
is huge, even if it is just for early access, like limited early access. Like, them getting the jump on PlayStation and letting Xbox gamers play it early, like, that's a huge get for them. That game is
Right.
a monster, and like I really want to play that game a lot. Like, I think that game has a cool concept, and for a multiplayer game to get in, it's quick. if you're surviving, you keep playing. If you die, you're automatically kicked out of the room and you get to start your next match. That is so smart. I think a lot of games with that style of of
Play.
multiplayer need to
Yes.
take notes, because like you look at something like Friday the 13th, which if you die in that game, you have to sit in that game and wait for everybody else to die or escape. And if you leave and you're the host, everybody else gets kicked out, and you screwed everybody. Like,
And that's the same as Dead by Daylight.
yeah, yeah. It's just if Microsoft can just inject some fire into these first party titles, like
Hmm.
they can make a strong comeback, man. Like, not that they're
And
failing, because they're still doing better, but
right, and they probably got some pitches and some canceled games that can be reworked by indie studio and released.
right,
So that portfolio for Xbox can be, and if they market it right and give it some visibility, that could do wonders. And then and that would force Sony to be like, okay, we got to change it up, because if we continue to go the route that we're going, Microsoft is going to overtake us, and
right,
they will come and take that lead.
right,
So, as you can have your God of War and you can have The Last of Us, that's completely fine. But they won't hold a candle to what Microsoft will offer if Microsoft is able to go that route.
right. So first party, man, I really want to see some, like, they said they're building their new game, which is like supposedly an action RPG similar to Horizon. I mean, not like they're
Hmm.
not copying Horizon, but they said they're building their Horizon, and they'll announce it in like 2 or 3 years. Like, I'm excited to see what that game is. I'm really excited to see what Microsoft can do outside the realm of Gears and Halo and Crackdown and Forza. I I am really excited, because they said they have what, like 2 or 3 projects in the work that haven't been announced yet, and Phil Spencer said that
Yes.
there's no reason to announce it if they have nothing to show, which is also smart. I
Learning from Nintendo.
so I think it's that long turnaround, but once they get there, I think Xbox is gonna have that. We have a reason for you to play on our box.
Right.
So, other than like preference of staggered sticks, or just being an Xbox fan, or like, they're gonna draw those people away from the PlayStation ecosystem again. Uh, because I mean, there's a lot of gamers that pick one or the other, and which we are fortunate enough to be able to play everything and have everything, and be
Right.
on top of everything, but some people don't want to do that.
And
So,
yeah, and if I had to say anything that has a lasting appeal on PlayStation, it's probably going to be Bloodborne or Dark Souls. Because I think once people got done with Uncharted 4, that was it. Once people got done with Horizon, that was it.
yeah, yeah,
Gran Turismo, like,
mm, don't need. I don't. I'm not into racing games. Like, I just can't. Sorry.
right.
All right. What's our last question? We have one more question. Where'd it go?
Yes, Jesse Douglas. It's out there
Again?
again.
Man, Jesse, why are
Yes,
you hogging our question?
because he's amazing. It's out there again that keyboard and mouse is going to be supported sometime after the One X comes out. Do you think it will happen, or is this just going to be an ongoing rumor? Uh,
I think it's going to happen, just because of
Me too.
they want to promote crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation, or Xbox and PC. God, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm sorry, Xbox and PC through the Windows 10 store, and I think
Mhm.
that'll even the playing field for people playing against PC players. And I think each side is still going to be able to opt out of, I don't want to play with people playing with keyboard and mouse. Like, that's got to be a thing implemented, because a lot of people still like to play with the controller, but they also want to play with
Yes.
their friends who are playing on PC. Like, Ray Osorio and I were talking about playing Gears of War 4 together. Well, he doesn't have an Xbox, but he has it on PC, and I would be playing it on Xbox. So, like, we would be cross playing, obviously. But, like,
Hmm.
if somebody's playing Halo 6 with a mouse and keyboard, they're gonna dominate over somebody who's playing on controller on Xbox. Or like when PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds comes out, you know that's gonna be crossplay
Yeah.
with PC. Like that, people are gonna get slaughtered
Right.
with the PC players.
They're going to need that keyboard and mouse. Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know.
Anything first person shooter really. Destiny, Call of Duty, Halo, Overwatch, PUBG.
Well, I think most of that is if these games are going to be going online and crossplay, then go ahead and use mouse and keyboard if you're familiar with that or you want to learn it. Other than that, you will be fine with the controller, But just like you, Corey, yeah, I agree with you. It'll come out because of the crossplay with PC players.
Mm-hmm. The other thing too is like if Microsoft wants to start drawing in the MMO crowd, because they have what was that one MMO they showed on their stage? They have that
Black Desert.
Yeah, they have that. They want to crossplay with PC. They're trying to lure over Final Fantasy 14, Dragon Quest maybe at some point. Like, if you're trying to lure in these MMOs, like mouse and keyboard is a must, because there's so much micromanagement in an MMO.
Yeah, that Diablo 3, like the latest update that came out, like people probably who own the Xbox One, if they have the ability to do keyboard and mouse, they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it's coming eventually, and people will be able to opt out of playing with those players that do play with it. So mouse and keyboard, definitely coming. I think maybe it might be already available in one of the the preview update things. So.
And I would say the best way to announce this is do it with Gears 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally do it with Gears 4. Or if you decided to wait for Xbox One X, do it with PUBG Playground Unknown. Like go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think the first real test for that though will be Halo, because it'll be the first Halo game on PC since Halo 2. And that's going to be a game people will want to use mouse and keyboard on, especially in multiplayer. So especially if they're going to stay with the arena-based chasing the power weapons model that they went with Halo 5. So
yes,
I've really gotten the itch to play Halo again, man. Like
we still got to finish one.
Yeah,
together.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish one, dude. One is just so bad now.
I do need to pick up 5. Because I might have to do the whole 4 games, like the Master Chief Collection by myself. Sorry, Corey. But I hopefully when I pick up Halo 5, you could probably run through it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to play. I want to play through Halo 5 again, just to. I think it would be fun doing co-op and stuff with Halo 5. So. Be interesting. Ed.
Yes.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh. Woo. You were sitting really still, and I thought you froze.
Oh no.
You were literally just sitting like super still, and I was like, Ed. But
I'm here.
We've been going for about almost an hour and a half. So I think this is gonna wrap this episode of Arsenal X. Remember,
and thank you everybody for the questions.
Yeah, thank you. I posted it. I was just because I didn't know if we were going to be able to find any news, and I wanted to be able to get the community involved. Like, we're always trying to get community questions for all of our shows. So just look for the posts on our various Facebook places and leave a comment, leave a question in the comments. Like, I'm trying to get the Arsenal X email address ready, like, for that. So probably by next week we'll be able to have the proper email address for Arsenal X. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Join the NGR Radio Facebook group. Listen to our family of shows: Nintendo Power Block, Nerds Gone Platinum. Obviously, you're listening to Arsenal X, NGR Radio proper, World 1-1 podcast, the Brew Review if you're into beer. Matt's doing the music podcast now, Matt in the B flats. So check that out. Really glad he's finally doing something that, he's really passionate about. Matt likes games, but he loves music. So
Yes.
I'm happy for that. We're talking about promoting that through NGR. But I'm proud. I still want to promote it, even if he's not going to do it through NGR. Like, just go listen to Matt and the B flats. That first episode was good. So, what else, Ed? Where can we find you on the internet?
You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can hear my podcast Optional Opinion on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Real Player FM, and at the Anomalous Radio Network.podbean.com. That name might actually change. So just I'll let you guys know in advance when that happens. World 1 podcast. Like Corey said, you can hear me on Powerblock and also on Arsenal X. Let's pod and play. Me and Corey and other guests where we podcast and play video games and talk about the game and other topics. So you guys can check that out on every Thursday. We have some new episodes coming. Thank you guys for watching us play and podcast. We love the support that you guys have given us about that. It is so much fun to do. Like I said, we got more content coming up for that, for Let's Pod and Play.
Yeah, we're actually getting ready
to
record one or two of those.
Yes. You can check my writing on IGN.com under anime ENIME. That's my optional opinion blogs. And at skirmishfrogs.com for my series called The Moment. If you guys want to friend me on Xbox, you guys could do that. Mine is the Lyrical One, capital DALYRICAL1. And also check out my Twitch channel, The Lyrical One, where I do my Let's Learn series. I will be getting back to that in September, actually. And I'm getting ready to do the Beauty of Video Games, Volume 3 for Optional Opinion with a lot of guests. And also got some things coming up in October and August. So, yeah, you guys could just be ready for all that content. And check my writings at ngr.com. I am going to be posting my Destiny 2 preview about it. But you also guys can hear that on Arsenal X.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing before I promote my stuff, we're working on a store, an NGR radio store.
Yes.
There's some t-shirt designs in the works, so I will have more to announce next week, probably at some time on plethora of shows. So you can just follow me on Twitter at Corey Hudson in HD. I'll be tweeting it out there too, and on Instagram. Some of the designs will go up on Instagram at Corey in HD. You can find all of our content on ngrradio.com and on our YouTube page. Just subscribe to NGR Radio on YouTube. Check out our breakouts of Arsenal X daily. If you're looking for something specific, might be there, might not be there. Just click subscribe anyway. That little red button right down there. So, Ed, I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, we love you.
Everybody, we're about to sit Arsenal X. Yes.